Josh Lafazan, former Democratic legislator in Nassau County, New York, and Chad Connelly, president of Faith Wins, former chairman of the South Carolina Republican Party. Gentlemen, welcome both of you. Chad, we're going to start with you right now. Former President Trump at this Pennsylvania McDonald's here for this big photo op. We have seen several politicians on both sides make stops like this before. Chad, your reaction from today's stop?
You know, what a boss move, right? I mean, how relatable. I've seen people running locally do stuff like that and work the drive-through. I'm pretty sure no presidential candidate has done that and leaned out the drive-through and talked to people of every stripe, every background, delivering their French fries and Big Mac meals. I thought it was just a brilliant strategic move, and he had fun doing it, and clearly the people loved it, Natasha.
Josh, do you agree? A brilliant strategic move, because meanwhile, we do see Trump saying Harris never worked there, the Harris campaign having to defend that. What do you make of this back and forth?
I agree, I do. And if Democrats can't be honest, even when we may detest our opponent, then it's going to be counterproductive for us as a party. It was genius. He took what is such an infinitesimal attack that she never worked at McDonald's. It wouldn't even make the radar in a senior class president campaign, let alone a presidential campaign. And he turns it into another news cycle that he dominates. And quite frankly, it shows his ability to do retail. And I think it should spur the Harris campaign in these last 16 days to do alternative media, to take back, really the narrative and to do shows like Joe Rogan, to do a chicken shop date and utilizing that alternative media, because if Trump continues to dominate the media dialogue for the next 16 days, it's not going to be good for us on election day.
Josh, chicken shop date, that is not something I had thought of. I think that would get a lot of tune-in. The Harris campaign should call you for some of these ideas. Josh, I do want to stay with you. VP Harris today, we see her trying to shore up the black vote in Georgia. There is concern among some Democrats that she is losing ground with this demographic. How critical is this voting bloc to her winning the White House, and what are the numbers showing? Is she in trouble?
Sure, I think that the numbers are clear, that looking at Clinton's numbers to Biden's numbers to Harris's numbers, that firewall, right? African-American men make up such an important part of the base of the Democratic Party vote nationally. And there are some concerns with even a slight lag, that's going to hurt. Remember, this election is going to come down to 5, 10, 15,000 votes. And if the African-American vote in cities like Detroit can swing the state of Michigan, then she's in trouble. And quite frankly, it's why I think the most important validator for her right now is Barack Obama. Barack Obama, it was recently polled, he has a 57% approval rating. It's way higher than Harris at 43 and Trump at 43 and Biden at 39. And more importantly, he's such an important validator for young men, and especially black young men. And if he can continue to stump on the campaign trail and continue to make the case that Harris will be for progress for black men in the African-American community, I think he'll help crystallize that support. And quite frankly, she can take all the support she can get. This is a 16-day sprint, and taking voters for granted in a tight race is an enormous mistake.
Okay, Chad, over to you. I do want to ask Republican New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu today, saying that he does not like Trump's rhetoric of late, using vulgar terms about the VP. He does add that Harris is going about using those words for sympathy the wrong way. Let's listen together.
I think one of the mistakes is if Kamala Harris thinks that they're just repeating the crazy things Trump says is going to garner her those swing voters, that's not what they're going to the polls on. They've heard that. That's established. That's nothing new.
Chad, your thoughts on the governor's comments?
Yeah, Sununu's right. Trump's the most relatable guy out there. He's really great at reaching out and touching people. And let's face it, Kamala had probably one of her worst weeks. You know, I think Obama's probably the greatest retail politician in American history. He's very talented, but he came across as condescending to those young black men. And that went viral on all sorts of social media platforms. Then, of course, Bill Clinton admits that if that illegal alien who murdered Lake and Riley had been properly vetted by the Biden administration, she'd probably be alive. And then she snubs the Al Smith dinner. I mean, on and on and on. She really, the whole thud of the Brett Baer interview, it just didn't land with the audience she needed. Trump's very, very good at relating to people at all levels. I think the McDonald's service today was a great example. And I believe that's where Kamala Harris is falling really short, is people are learning her in these interviews and they're not liking her. She's not got a likability factor and that connection to voters that you got to have.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.